What's going on, guys? It's Kyle again with DTOM Knives and Gear, and today we are going to be checking out and doing the full review on this beauty. This is the Koenig Arius sent to me by Jake over at Bearded Gear. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back, everybody. Okay, today's an exciting day, very exciting day. We are checking out the Koenig Arius. I was sent this knife by none other than Jake over at Bearded Gear. Please go check him out. If you are subscribed to me and not subscribed to him, I really don't know how that's possible. So if you are not, go check him out. He has been a wonderful, wonderful friend since me and him both have started this YouTube journey about the same time. He is absolutely killing it. He is doing so well, and for good reason. Go check his videos out. He does a lot of his videos out on the trail, and so it's very entertaining to watch, and he is such a great dude. He also has this sticker here, which I absolutely love. Me and him both agree that holes are greater than studs. That is in reference to not what you think it is. This is about the deployment of knives, and we share that. And he came up with that, and I was like, man, that's genius. So, anyways, all right, Jake sent me this knife as well as the Finch Runtley, and I have actually been carrying them both together. Because both of those knives together, he sent me both of them, and I think it's a great kind of combo for this being a primary knife and the Finch Runtley being a secondary knife. But I have my own, I'm going to have my own review of that knife in particular coming out later. But it was great that he sent them both at the same time, and I was able to do it that way. Okay, so if you haven't heard of the Koenig Arius, this knife has made waves in the knife community. Been out for a few years, obviously. It's not the first time that anybody has seen this, but it's the first time I've got the opportunity to handle this knife. I've seen quite a few reviews, and everybody was talking about how great it was. Well, I agree with them. First of all, this is a American-made knife. These are made in Boise, Idaho, which there's another maker out there that's in Boise, Idaho that I like. So, great knife makers out there in Boise, I tell you. This one is made by Bill Koenig. He is the one who started the company, and it's actually a very, very great story. I kind of encourage you guys to go to the website and click the About button, and he tells the story of how it got started. I've kind of summarized, but anyway, he's been in the knives ever since he was a young child, like most of us are. And his dad was definitely supportive of that, taking him out to blade shows and whatnot, and he knew that that's what he wanted to do. He was working different jobs and then decided, you know what, I want to get up enough money to start my own knife company. He went to his father. His father was such a supportive man and said yes right off the bat. And unfortunately, his father passed away like the day after they had that conversation. Very heart-wrenching story. But that did not stop him. He pursued his dream and his father's dream after that. Such a wonderful, wonderful story, and now it is a success story. He is now creating these beautiful knives that are so well made that I know his father would be very, very proud. So what is so great about these knives? Well, I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way. That what is so great about the Koenig Arius especially is the action. If you have been watching any kind of reviews on the Koenig Arius, you'll hear that it has a wonderful action. Well, I'm going to go ahead and give it a one further, that this action on the knife is absolutely the best I've ever felt. Not only for the smoothness in which the blade moves back and forth on the pivot, but the detent on this thing is absolutely spot on. Like, I've had a couple of knives where I'm like, yeah, that detent, ooh, that's good. Doesn't compare. It just does not compare to the Koenig Arius. It is a super smooth, runs on bearings, and when I say smooth, I mean smooth. It's definitely false shutty, but, doesn't have any grittiness to it. I mean, it runs on bearings, so it should be smooth, right? But that's not really what makes a knife. I mean, a lot of knives can be drop shutty. But the detent, however, this thing is impossible to fail. I have tried to fail at this. I can do the push button. I can do the light switch, and it just rockets out of there so well. And then, of course, like Jake and I love. It has this elongated hole where you can do the middle finger flick, which is my preferred way to open this knife. You can even really get your thumb in there and do the thumb deployment. So this knife, as far as deployment and fidget factor, blows me out of the water. It is absolutely wonderful. So that's huge, especially for me. I like a lot of different knives. I don't have to have a drop shitty action. I don't have to have the absolute perfect. I want it to perform like it needs to. But this one takes the cake as far as knives that I've handled now. I haven't handled, thousands of knives like some folks have. But the knives that I have handled, this is absolutely the best action fidgetable knife that I have ever held. Now, there are other knives you can have open different ways and whatnot. This one is just a thumb, a hole and a flipper, which really makes for a good fidgetable knife. That's for sure. But it's not really about that. It's really about how the detent is just killer. I cannot stress how, you're really not going to know until you get one of these in hand. And I didn't know until Jake sent this over. And I am so freaking stoked that he did. I want to keep it and love it and kiss it. But I know he's never going to sell this knife. This is his knife. He actually had one before that he didn't use a whole lot. He ended up getting rid of it and then getting this one. And if you go watch his video on this knife, he's got quite a few actually. This is his knife. He uses it. He works. Matter of fact, one of his videos, he's got him stabbing it into a tree. This knife is a very, it's an expensive knife. These are around $500 to $600, and it depends on, they come in a bunch of different variations and blade finishes, carbon fiber, titanium, just a bunch of different stuff. So it really depends on what your poison is there. I think this one's around $600. So not an inexpensive knife. It's definitely up there. But man, the quality that goes into this knife, I'm telling you, all these American-made companies that I have been looking at their knives here lately, you really can't. Everybody complains about, man, the price. You can get manufacturing done a lot cheaper overseas, and some of it's good, but the manufacturing that you get here from these guys, these people that started these companies and love what they do, they really take the extra mile and give you premium manufacturing, not just materials. This one in particular, they have a lot of blades that are in the CTS HHP, but this one is actually an M390, which M390 is one of my favorite steels, along with this CPM 20CV, which is basically the same stuff. So it has that going for it, full titanium. And let's see if we can get a shot on the inside. These things are way milled out, like crazy milled to save weight. And man, I don't know if I was picking up, but anyways, that it is so, like, for a knife this size, the weight is it's just awesome. I love bigger knives. This one is definitely in my wheelhouse as far as length. It's about 8.5 inches long. It has a 3.5 inch blade. And the blade thickness is about 150 thousandths. Now, the thickness behind the edge, even with this is a hollow grind, and it's a very well done hollow grind, is about 22, 23 thousandths, but it does get thicker as you come up the blade. So down around here's the thinnest, and it does get thicker. I think it gets close to like 28 up here. So it's not the thinnest behind the edge, but the performance of the way this thing is ground, it still does an excellent job. You've got your nice little drop point. Look at this swedge. See if I can actually get this to show. It's not just a regular chamfered swedge. This is actually a concave, like radius down in there that I think is freaking sweet. Just looks super cool, very unique. I'm sure there are other blades out there like that, but I just haven't held them. So has the nice kind of like a fuller groove that goes into the opening hole, the elongated hole. And then your blade only has the Koenig name there, and then the rest of the blade is totally sterile. So freaking awesome. Really enjoy that. Hardware and everything on this guy. Still, like I said, everything is made in the United States. Look at this cool pivot, which we'll use that word again, concave. Really cool pivot that I think just looks badass. It's, of course, a captive pivot. You have your regular hardware. You have a lock bar insert, so you have steel on steel. The pocket clip on this thing is done absolutely wonderful. Really, really like it. Now, it's not deep carry, of course, and you guys know me. I don't care about deep carry, not at all. So this thing goes in and out of pocket really well, keeps it in your pocket, and is, you're not gonna have to worry about this thing going anywhere. This thing, if we'll look at the handle scales right now, you can see these things are contoured and chamfered and radiused on every single inch of this knife. There is not a single hot or sharp corner on this thing. The attention to detail on the milling process is absolutely stellar. Now, I know a lot of people, see if we can actually get in this. A lot of people say there's kind of like micro milling on the titanium. That's not really, since I have work in a machine shop, that's not really micro milling. What that is basically seeing the 3D machine lines in this. So it doesn't actually add any grip. It is very cool looking. This is a blasted finish, and you can still see the actual 3D machine lines, which I think look killer. It's kind of the same way here, where they left, see if I can see it. See those lines in the cutout there? They left those lines there for a reason. All that is just the the tool path of those end mills kind of going in, and it's creating that. Hear that? That kind of rough surface. So it's just part of the machining process that I think looks cool and does its job well. They really know what they're doing. I mean, especially as far as the detent. I just don't think I'm ever going to find another knife that the detent feels like this. Now, so we've gone over the materials and the construction and whatnot. How does this thing feel in hand? Goodness gracious. Ergonomics are great. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, this particular shape that kind of comes in and has a fatter end at the bottom is in my wheelhouse. The only thing that I could say about this knife that would probably make it one of the perfect knives for me is a finger troll for me to be able to choke up. It doesn't really have that. It does have a sharpening troll, which I do appreciate. But if this thing, I would even take less blade cutting edge for a finger troll. And I'm telling you what, right now, if this thing had one, or if I could get one with a finger troll where I could choke up on this thing, money, take my money. That's exactly what would happen. I would totally buy one of these knives. Not to say that I won't still, because damn, I love it. Now, I know this one is never going to leave Jake's hands. Probably he is really, really attached to this knife, and rightfully so, because I mean, it's just like on the other reviews that I've done for some of these other manufacturers, especially the American manufacturers. You just can't really understand until you get it in hand and you start playing with this thing. Absolutely wonderful. Let's go see how big this thing is. Okay, so we have our regular PM2. Let's see if we can pivot to pivot. So the Koenig Arius is a little bit longer than the PM2. Obviously, it's got a little bit wider of a blade. The carry profile between these two, you can see, let's see if we can actually get it. It's pretty close, because you have, this big, huge top port that houses the hole, then you have the hole here. So they're pretty similar as far as the carry profile. So not much difference there, but definitely the Koenig Arius is a little bit longer. Let's see what it is against the other Idaho-made knife. Here it is against the Large and Kosi, Chris Reeve Large and Kosi. As you can see, as far as lengthwise, they're pretty similar. Let's see what it is against the ergonomic beast that I talked about, the Strider knives, which I really, really enjoy their ergonomics, and you can see kind of a similarity there as far as it going thin, getting fatter at the end. Really, really enjoy that. This one does have a finger troll. If this one had a finger troll, holy crap, Bill Koenig, make one with a finger troll, man. That would be, you would have such, I would buy your knife today, even though I need to sell some stuff. Anyways, that would make this knife, it is for me. But as you can see, ergonomics, this thing is a very comfortable knife in hand. They're pretty similar, as you can see there. I do have, of course, my Spyderco Shaman that is got some Strider-esque grips on it from my buddy Always on Edge. Go check him out on Instagram. He made these for me, and I am absolutely loving them so much. But that's just kind of to give you an idea. This is what I like as far as my ergonomics. This one is absolutely perfect. I just wish it had a finger troll up there. I know why he didn't do that, because a lot of people like to have more of a cutting edge. I get it. Totally get it. And this thing is so comfortable in hand without that it doesn't bother me at all. It's just, I think it would make it perfect for me, because my finger just wants to go that way. But so comfortable in hand. I don't even feel the pocket clip. There is no jimping at the top here. There's just a little bit of a ramp for your thumb to rest on. Perfect. Doesn't need jimping. I'm one of those where if it has it, as long as it's done well, it's fine. Jake, I know, does not like jimping. There's a lot of jimping, such as on the, like this Strider here. It's just, I don't think that jimp, I mean, it's not like sharp, but it's just not necessary in my opinion. And I'm glad that they actually left it off of this one, because this one ergonomically feels the hand and it's not going anywhere. You don't need the jimping. So I really appreciate that. All the grinds, everything on this knife is just money. I really can't fault anything on this thing. I really love almost everything about it. Now, kind of like some other manufacturers out there, the hardware you can get replaced with different colors, anodizations. Like I said, they make this in a few different offerings with carbon fiber and all kinds of stuff. So you've got something that can tickle your fancy. However, they're a little bit hard to get a hold of. So, that is a thing, and it's kind of the way with some of these smaller production companies. It's just the nature of the beast. However, I really think it's worth it. I love this knife. There's no other way to say it. I love this knife. It is the size that I want, the blade shape that I want. Everything about this thing, you can just tell, is absolute quality. The Koenig team in Idaho is doing a fantastic job. Kudos to you, sir, and your company. Holy crap. So the only thing we haven't gone over is how much this thing weighs. And I showed you in earlier how it's, these are pretty thick slabs of titanium that are contoured, so they have to be, a little bit thicker. But the milling on this thing is about as deep as I've ever seen. So even with this big knife, you're getting about 4.8 ounces. I think is money. You guys know me. I do not take weight into consideration, because I have a lot of heavy knives that I like to carry. So it's not a big deal for me. However, could you put this in your basketball shorts and carry it around? Yeah, you could. It's not going to be the best. It's probably going to flap around a little bit. But, I really would not care. I would put this in anything and show this guy off, because damn. Oh, Jake, you are absolutely a wonderful, wonderful man for letting me see and handle this knife. I am forever in your debt, and now, of course, you're going to make me spend money. I'm going to have to buy one of these things, and my wife is just going to have to call you and be like, so expect that. Anyways, guys, I really appreciate you stopping by and checking this thing out with me. It's an absolute wonderful knife. It's on the expensive side. I get it. Not everybody's going to be able to afford this. But if you are a collector and you are looking for something that really is like just money as far as the quality and the detent that you have never experienced before, I'm telling you, this detent is... I wish every knife had it. And I know it's not exactly a hard or an easy thing to do, because if it was, all knives would have an action like this. But even the ones that I have on bearings don't come close to the Koenig Arius. Guys, I really appreciate you stopping by. Go check out my friend Jake over at Bearded Gear. Give him a holler. Tell him that Kyle said, "You're awesome, dude." And if you like this kind of stuff, hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit the notification bell. I do giveaways every month, so if you hit the notification bell, you'll be able to be notified when I do that. And guys, stay safe in this crazy, crazy world that we're living in, and we will see you in the next one.